When it comes to my general ethos on life, there are a few concepts that I hold true, which may seem almost contradictory. And one of those would be trusting the timing of your life, having faith in the path that you're on. Now, I firmly believe that you need to assert agency and autonomy wherever possible, that you need to be accountable, that you need to be responsible for your life, that you need to recognize the way in which your past experiences and your cultural conditioning, your family conditioning impacts on your capacity to see things clearly and to make wise decisions and to do things with love, to remain open hearted. However, that being said, I also have this blind faith in the timing of my life and in what happens. Now, despite the fact that a lot of shit has hit the fan. I've been through my fair share of struggles, and I suppose at the time I possibly didn't want to hear it. And yet, when I look back, I mean, hindsight is a wonderful thing. I realize that everything that has occurred has brought me to where I am today. And that I've always been on this journey, and that I've always been on this path. And even though currently I'm in the midst of an extremely painful experience, and I've been really struggling with it. I've been kind of very much trying to rationalize and trying to intellectualize my way through it, and then I've turned to surrender, and then I've turned to kind of trying to recognize the lesson that it is that I should be learning. And then I get to a place where I'm just like, you know what, I have to just let this go. I have to just let this play out. And I suppose it's knowing in my heart of hearts that there is something here that is going to come good at some stage, and I think it's that faith in something better coming along that has kept me alive and that enables me to do the work that I do with people. Because again, I think every heartache, every breakdown in life is also a potential breakthrough if we're open to it. And I was actually listening to Glennon Doyle and Brené Brown this morning, and I really believe that sometimes we get these messengers and we really need to be open to them. Oftentimes we go through life on autopilot and we don't really recognize any signs that are given to us, whereas I am always, at least I try to be always on the lookout. And sometimes when I'm in the depths of despair or when I'm in a horrific place in my life, something as subtle and as small as the sun bursting through the clouds on a really, really dark day, or something like a feather or a ladybird, just lifts my spirits enough for me to try and see things from another perspective, and to believe that there is something greater than I looking out for me that is going to guide me through it. And I know that all sounds a little bit woo-woo, but I mean, without that faith, what do we have? Without that belief that there is a kindness and a benevolence and a higher power inside of us or outside of us that is there to take care of us, then what else do we have? We're completely reliant on ourselves. And I talk about it time and time again. One of the most beautiful things or gifts we can give ourselves is recognizing that we can't carry everything, all our burdens, all our troubles by ourselves, and that sometimes we cannot fix ourselves. We're not a problem to be fixed. There's nothing inherently wrong with us. Sometimes our life just brings us in a journey that wasn't, kind of designed to keep us happy forever. And so we have to learn the hard way that there is another avenue for us. And it's about recognizing when to make that decision and how to make that decision. And that is so difficult. It is so painful. And oftentimes I think it's our fight against that brings us into a place of autopilot and wanting to numb out. And I mean, believe you me, I have been finding ways to numb out and avoid dealing with pain since I was 7, 8, 9. I mean, I have experienced so many issues throughout the years, and so many addictions and so many mental health issues, trying to avoid the reality of how big my emotions were and how big my thoughts were, and sometimes how big my hurt is and how much I feel. And instead of just relishing in the vividness and the aliveness of it, and I think part and parcel of my life has been about showing me that despite the fact that you may feel pain, or that you may feel rejection, that you may feel like as if you don't belong, there is a beauty in that. There's a beauty in that self inquiry and that opportunity for developing self awareness and for building the courage to move to the next step and learn the lessons that you need to learn, as opposed to kind of becoming very self defeatist and internalizing this message of I'm too much for the world, there's something wrong with me, and I need to row in with what it is that everybody else expects of me. And as I said, it's that vulnerability and the courage that takes you to look at your life and really ask, okay, is it my life that's intolerable, or am I just not showing up? Am I just not doing the things that I know inherently I need to do in my heart and in my gut in order for me to feel like I am fulfilling what it is that I was put on this planet for? And as I said, I know this all sounds a little bit woo-woo, but I mean, you have to have faith in your journey. You have to believe in a better tomorrow, because ultimately, what else do we have? We have to believe that the world is about love and about compassion and about community and about, finding deeper depths within ourselves and learning about our true magnificence and, kind of seeing the world through eyes of awe and wonderment, as opposed to just passing through it without paying any heed to what it is that's going on. Because again, we do get very bogged down in the humdrum of work and, feeling shit about ourselves and what we look like and what it is that's expected of us. And a lot of us have huge levels of dissatisfaction. And I suppose I feel that so many of the healing modalities that I have had to turn to over the years, and indeed the healing modalities that I utilize in the work that I do with clients, have shown me different aspects of what it is to be human, what it is to question your existence, and what it is to want to reach a higher level, a higher level of understanding, a higher level of, I suppose, kind of forgiveness, a higher level of sacrifice, a higher level of trying to be a decent person. And it's about allowing yourself to be raw. It's about allowing yourself to be in situations, not trying to fix them, not trying to intellectualize them, not trying to run from them, but just be in them and say, okay, this is where it's at. What do I need to do here? And just kind of really sitting with the self and allowing yourself to be who you are, and holding faith that the answers will come to you at some stage. Because again, I think that's one of the issues I have always experienced, is needing to know what the answer is or what the right solution is, as opposed to being able to just let it be, and to coexist with what it is that I was experiencing, and to fully believe and have faith in the things turning out okay, and that I was always on this journey and I was always on the path, and everything that comes to me has a meaning and has a purpose for me, and not abandon myself in that, not believe that I have to be someone different or that I have to fix all of the world's problems, but just to take in all of the good and try to filter out as much bad as you can. And as I said, it's not an easy journey, because being in pain isn't a nice place to be. It's our natural inclination to want to run from it and to avoid it. And yet, sometimes when I've been in the depths of pain, I have felt the most alive, and I think if we can allow that to happen, it is such a mind and a heart opener for us. And I know the shamanic healing that I've been doing of late has been so complementary to all of the more, I suppose, psychotherapeutic work that I've done, in that it allowed me to forgive myself for who I was, to recognize that there was nothing inherently wrong with me, that I just needed to find what it is that complemented who I am and that allowed me to be who I was. That every single time that I felt there was another part of me that needed to be fixed, that maybe it was just another part of me that needed to be accepted and to feel loved. I hope everyone is having an amazing day, and I will talk to you again soon.